for? Yes. Again, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion and on the application of legislature, yes, or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence, yes. Now, I've noticed a lot of laws have been signed recently in the last 5 to 10 years, yes, where you as individual states seem to think, yes, that you can do whatever the fuck you want. Now, I've been wanting to sue the governor, yes, and then I'm going to want to sue all of those that signed that pledge, yes, because, well, as a citizen of the United States, I'd like to sue you. Now, I can probably think of 20 variations of lawsuits, Governor Jay Inslee, but I just proved to you that I was not given any due process for 8 years. Yes, because somebody said I was crazy. Then I proved conspiracy. Yes, hate crimes. And you as the governor right now, you're getting sued, and you can end it. Oh, well, I think that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. When you condemn me, yes, to being a domestic abuser for my whole fucking life right now, there's an obvious abuse of power. Yes. Now, I know that your political career seems important to you. Yes. But my political career is important to me. Yes. Now, I, well, I know you're upset. Now, let's look at it. National Institute of Standards and Technology, the NIST. Why don't you get me the employees of that? Yes. Nisi Prius, unless before then a civil trial court in which, unlike in an appellate court, issues are tried before a jury. The term is obsolete in the United States except in New York and Oklahoma. Oh, is it still operational in New York and Oklahoma? These juries. Nisi of court's ex parte ruling or grant of relief, having validity unless the adversarially affected party appears and shows cause why it should be withdrawn. See decree NIST under decree. Yeah. Oh, and then the Ninth Amendment, the constitutional amendment ratified with the Bill of Rights of 1791, providing that rights listed in the Constitution must not be construed in any way that denies or disparages unlisted rights which are retained by the people. Now, well, I want you to enforce the law. I'm going to sue these law firms and their employees for the ethics violation, for the knowledge of fraud, conspiracy, and forgery. Yes, I'm going to sue them for not representing their clients. Now, as much as you would say the outside counsel, yes, has a different level of liability than the general counsel employed in the corporation. Let's say you're a counsel of any corporation. Yes, you're an actual employee of the corporation, right? And to a certain extent, the corporation protects yourself because the corporation, yes, can be considered an individual entity. But when you employ outside counsel right now, they have a different level of liability for allowing for this state and every state to refuse to enforce the full faith and credit of the United States Constitution. Now, an ex parte order, an order made by the court upon the application of one party to an action without notice to the other. You would think the ex parte protection order, yes, without the actual acknowledgement of the petitioner, yes, was not able to be issued. Yes. Now, you, Brent Beeston, took it upon yourself to be the ex parte party without the acknowledgement of the ex parte party that motioned the court. Now, for some reason, you just don't seem to understand that you have to remove your fucking fraud. Now, funding, yes. The process of financing capital expenditures by issuing long-term debt obligations, or by converting short-term obligations into long-term obligations to finance current expenses. The process of creating a funded debt. The financing of debt before its maturity, also termed refunding. The provision of allocation for money for the specific purpose, such as for a pension plan, by putting the money into a reserve fund or investment. The provision of financial resources to finance a particular activity or project, such as a research study. The transfer of property to a trust. Now, let's say you're in the chamber. You're K&L Gates, right? Perkins Co. You're one of these big law firms. Why don't you give me the actual amount of funding that you have available to keep your corporation going in the event that one of your large corporate clients decides to fire you as an outside counsel? Now, when they have their individual names, okay, they would do everything they could to retain themselves as the outside counsel of large corporations, because every time you have to go looking for funding, yes. Oh, well, listen, K&L Gates. Okay, right now. Why don't you get me the deep pockets, deep motherfucking pockets right now, the deep pockets.